What's up, friends? Welcome back to a new YouTube cast. In the top right, spawning as the yellow Zerg is going to be Africa Freaks Dongregu. Bottom left is going to be us playing for Africa. Maybe it's Africa SE2 nowadays, actually. Stats. So teammates over here will be scoring it off on Pillars of Gold, which in general is a map that I don't like too much against Zerg, and there's a couple of reasons for that. So you have this fort base, which is difficult to keep. You have many angles which you can be attacked from once the rocks are taken down, even another one. There's many angles for Baneling run by. Banelings can come from here, move to the right, can come from the left, they come from drops, they can come from here, they can come from here. There's so many paths here for Zerg to counter attack the Protoss once he gets that fort base going, that I always feel very, very scared on this map at all times. Now, Banelings have lost a bit of their strength, but not against probes. They still, with +2, managed to one-shot probes. So, never a big fan of this map. On top of that, there's one thing on this map which is, it's not annoying, but it's a little bit funny if you recognize it, is that actually on this map there's the position of the minerals is in such a way that it actually becomes quite difficult to get the same amount of money as you're used to. There's only 2 semi-close patches. Sometimes there's more, and these aren't even that close. So a lot of the builds that rely a lot on timing, they feel off. But even though the other guy obviously experiences the same thing, it's just funny to notice that, for example, if you see a regular glaive adept build, usually the latest timing you really want to be warping is like 421, 422. Really at latest, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see stats hit like a 426 or a 427 timing. There's like 5-6 seconds delay. You notice it very early on in the game. I think it's only the main base, but I could be wrong because I don't notice it too much with my later timing. But there's definitely a difference there. As we see stats going into that glaive build, third adept is on the way here, as well as 2 more gateways, and we're gonna be heading into that famous, well, by now famous glaive adept build. If you aren't aware of it yet, then I don't know where you've been in the last few months. I want to say weeks, but it really has been months at this point. And we see the second gate is a little bit too late to immediately get that first warp in. It is going to be quite a late timing here by stats, honestly. But like I said, it's because of the map. It's not the biggest of deals. Rojoran going down. Here we have the man who invented the response that everything is built upon. It's Dongregu, of course, who was the first one to figure out that single gas, 30 to 44 links or 30 to 50 links into roaches with 5 queens was the way to play. Spine at the third base as well, or in a location in which you can zone the adepts away. So Dongregu really showing why his best. Yeah, it was a 427 warp in. I was fairly accurate with my guesstimation there. Yeah, it's just a product of the map. So usually I'd say, well, that's a bad timing to hit, or it's a bad timing to do your first 4 adept warp in. But in this case, it's not. You know, life could be worse. That's what I'm trying to say. 447, 448. Okay, yeah, he lost 1 or 2 more seconds somewhere in there. Not quite sure what he was doing, but it's not too great. Here come the resonating glaives. Roaches are on the way, not out yet, but will be once the shade finishes. Now you see the spine. Helping the zoning, meaning that the entire army of Dongregu can go and chase these adepts, and this is just a fantastic start for Dongregu, right? First shade did absolutely nothing. Are we gonna see another warp in? Yes, we are. Warp in for Stalkers. Alright, this is going to be the Snipe Overlords. I want to say this is new, but it's not. It's actually quite old. People used to do this like quite a while ago, and then it lost a little bit in popularity. Now, it makes it harder to deal with the adepts because you don't quite know where they're going to be anymore. You can perhaps fight the roaches a little bit easier with them. So far, a single overlord has fallen. That's not exactly what I'd call brilliant. We see a counterattack from Dongregu. I'm not a fan of that. I think he built too many links and not enough drones. I think 10 of these should be 5 extra drones. Another overlord is going to go down here. It's going to supply block Dongregu. 2 more overlords are on the way though, as well as 8 more drones. So good starter for Dongregu, who still needs to be careful. So really this is the scenario where both players need to be very careful with what they do. In the case for Dongregu, because it's completely possible for stats to move across the map. He didn't lose anything yet. meaning that he still has a pretty decent army. So usually with these adept builds, you trade adepts for drones, and then Zerg can drone up freely to like 68 again. And depending how many drones you killed, how many units, it kind of decides what type of position you're in. But here it's different because nothing was lost by stats. He only warped in 12 adepts as well, which means his eco should be a little bit better than it currently is, honestly. If he cut on the adepts this much, I'm not quite sure why his eco is this bad. I think he definitely could have continued pro production. A little bit disappointed by that. Does manage to snipe a creep tumor with these 4 stalkers. 4 stalker goes in as well. Still 350 resources lost. Another tumor is gonna bite the dust. Another tumor bites the dust. As we have some link spotting here for Dongregul. Overlord barely missing this ramp, but vision fairly good, I would say. I can't say the same quite of Stats, who is blissfully unaware that there's a couple of Ravagers on the map walking towards his base right now. I don't think they should be able to do too much. We have +1 range on the way, so we see really also in Korea that switch from Baneling focused styles into more lurker based styles, as the Baneling nerf has hit hard, and Zerg started realizing, hey, these lurker guys aren't half bad after all, especially against Colossi Stalker plays. People always say, well, just get some disruptors with it, but by the time Hive is out, we're going to be seeing some Vipers, and Vipers really are a hard counter to disruptors, of course. And this is an interesting army, actually. I'm not quite sure what wins. I feel like with a good surround, perhaps Dongregul could fight here, but I guess he doesn't want to see if Stats forgets the force field. I kind of like that decision, honestly. So far, what have we lost for Overlords? 12 links, a couple of tumors. Creep has been denied very nicely, which means Colossi are going to be of a bit more use here for the Protoss player, who is been playing a relatively passive game. I mean, just the fact that he's lost nothing so far can tell you a lot about this game. We have Lurker then on the way, 7 more Overlords, making sure he won't be supplied up till the end of times. I mean, these Stalkers could get 5 more Overlords, and Dongregul still would be fine. Here come the Roaches, here come the Hydras. Lurker then is done. No, not yet. It's on the way. It's going to finish up simultaneously, most likely, with this Hive. And then we're going to see the Seismic Spines and Adaptive Talents being researched. As creep threat's looking very, very bad here for Dongregul, honestly. I feel like he could have worked a bit more on that. I wouldn't even have minded if he added another Queen to really push that creep further. We see not a single tumor on that left side. This is a run by that's not going to do too much. Might get a cancel on a single gateway, but without upgrades on the links, these run bys just are worse. There's a big difference that you see here between how Dongregul plays and someone like Raynor, for example, who likes to go into those higher drone counts and also get double evo. Getting those carapace upgrades for the Hydras and the Lurkers, not super impactful against Colossi and Stalker necessarily, but if there ever is a later air transition, it's going to be a real big deal. And I mean, in general, it also helps, of course, but really it makes transitioning to air a lot harder for TOS, because 0-0 carriers just don't deal very well with +3 armored units. So surprised to not see a second evo, especially at this point where he already has 8 gases, he has those 80 drones, and it seems to me like it wouldn't be much of an investment. He's even completely stopping upgrades at this point, which is definitely a mistake. +2 should have been started already. We have Seismic Spines down, Adaptive Talents is on the way. We're going to see an attack here coming out of Dongregul. Selling run by, kills a gate and gets cleaned up. But this should be a cancel on this fortress. Right, I don't see a way for Stats to save this. This is an interesting position on these Lurkers. Yeah, I mean, these are just going to die, but cancel on the fort base, so I guess it's still going to be a decent trade here for Dongregul. Could have been even better, though. Charge bolts, no, just slow Zealots. Zealot Lex hasn't completed yet. Gonna get good trades against these things. It's one of the nice things when you're playing against someone who's playing single Evo. I mean, no carapace upgrades, no attack upgrades. There's going to be adrenal glands. That's the beauty of links, though, you know? If you just get carapace upgrades and adrenal, your DPS is still going to be completely fine to deal with a lot of things. Zealot run by or warping into the main base. We see an aggressive push coming out of Stats. I'd love to see a couple of Vipers being added into this army, honestly. A couple of Vipers could do so much here for Dongregul, but so far he seems to be completely fine just sticking to Lurker, Roach, Hydra, Ling. +2 has started for him now. We see triple disruptors on the way, so Stats not agreeing with my assessment that disruptors are relatively useless. This was a bad engagement here by Dongregul. It's probably still gonna be fine as his army is just a little bit better, but that was not how you want to engage into force fields. I mean, he's gonna get a good trade, but I feel like he was pushing his luck a little bit perhaps. Here we have the lurkers chasing, standard siege unit, chasing the Protoss army back to the base. And here come the disruptors, good initial shots, which is important. Gonna catch 2 of these lurkers, 2 vipers immediately start. So Dongregul is agreeing with my assessment at least that vipers are needed in this army, especially now that disruptors hit the field. 6 disruptors are here, and I think this is it for Stats, right? There's a timing right now where I'm like, okay, if you're not gonna hit here, you're gonna be in so much trouble, at least in my mind. He's gonna be having such a rough time playing against this. Creep still looking absolutely terrible though. No effort at all being put in these creep tumors. There is 3 queens remaining, and I don't think any of these are going to start creep tumors. Well, with this style it's so important to have map control, and speedy movement of your forces is always important, but especially when you're playing a style like this, which is heavily focused on multitasking and lots of vision. Now fort base is going to fall. Same time we see a semi-base trade being started here by Stats. I'm not a massive fan of this. I'm also not a massive fan of him going back to defend though. There's really not that many good options here for him. So he has 7 disruptors, there's a couple of Templar, now they got morphed into Archons. Templars are being morphed at home, I'm not quite sure why or where, but yeah. 3 more Archons are on the way here. That's a pretty scary looking army. This is bad movement by Dongregul. Once again, it's gonna tank a lot of these disruptor shots. Vipers way too late to the party, and a big portion of Dongregul's army there is gonna get cleaned up. Now he's gonna try to chase a little bit, which I don't mind too much, but Vipers should be in the front. If he gets another hit, oh my god, this is some truly horrific micro here by Dongregul, who is giving away unit after unit and actually giving Stats a fighting chance again. That was really, really poorly done by him. Just completely... I feel like Dongregul believes this game is over already, and he's just here to collect his win, but he's completely giving up on any kind of patience or precise play at this moment. So we have 12 lurkers on the map, 2 more are starting here. Stats is gonna go in, still in desperation mode of course, has no fort base up, he's trying to get it out. Disruptor shot hit, second disruptor shot, also big hits. Where are the Vipers? Vipers once again AFKing during a major fight. And no real unburrow micro coming out of Dongregul either. In my head this game was over 4 times already, but every single time Stats just keeps coming back. Right now we have a small gas bank here for Dongregul. 9 lurkers are out, 40 more Hydras on the way, supplies relatively even. Next step for Stats, I was gonna say, is to add these Templars so we can feed back these Vipers. Now, that's not quite a great fight, because most of the time Vipers are gonna get the pull off, and Vipers don't die if you feed back them, because of how feedback only does half damage of the energy. Here you see really the importance of creep as well. Like the vision is just so much worse than it should be. Meanwhile, we see Stats absolutely pooping his pants, 0 vision whatsoever on this map. There's a little army on the left side, but no clue what's happening anywhere. We see 5 disruptors, we see Storm, 4 Templars are being added, and 77 workers here for Dongregul, who is on 5 bases so far. Changelings being utilized as a way to keep vision on the map. And here we have a 5th base coming out of Stats. So Stats trying to get back into that game, that economy game. But his vision is so poor on the map. There's a single observer, 2 observers actually. Second observer is coming out right now. No air unit, no air switch coming out. +3 starting only now for Dongregul. Finally a second Evo going down as well. This has been a game in which Dongregul was very, very far ahead. And then has been trying in many different ways to give Stats a fighting chance again. As once again a semi-base trade starting. This time Stats has 2 armies on the map, and I'm kind of liking this position here for Stats. I'm a big fan of this base trade play. He's gonna be able to get 1 base for free, and then perhaps he's gonna get some shots with these disruptors. He is. Vipers of course will be able to grab them before the disruptor shots finish up. 1 disruptor shot will land. Meanwhile we have a massive run by on the 3rd base. Yeah, Dongregu. A little bit too sloppy, and now he's gonna regret that. You see three evils are actually done, only a single one upgrading. Recall clears up the lurker one by. All of a sudden we have a reverse situation. Stats on 5 base against a, well, really 1.5 mining base here for Dongregu. I mean, there's some minerals here, some minerals here, I guess. So really we're seeing 1, 2, half. I mean 3 base economy against 1.5, and it doesn't quite reflect in the income yet because a lot of workers are transferring. But I think soon we will see stats definitely grab an eco lead or a bigger income lead as we see over here right now. Still some money in the bank for Dongregu. He still has a very good army. Don't get me wrong there. I mean 20 lurkers, enough vipers as well. Here come a couple of disruptor balls. 11 workers are going down against this Ling Runby on the bottom side at the same time, and I think Stats is going to have to concede both this base and at least temporarily this mineral. Oh my god, are you joking? All the probes are going to go down. 30 probes fall in a matter of seconds. Vipers are joining in the fray as well. Are we going to see any pools? Any abducts? There's so many stormers. The problem is you need to move so far forward with these Viper or with these disruptors usually that if the Viper player is paying attention, you can always get a pool in. Oh, another pool? No. I feel like Dongregu is playing way too afraid with these Vipers. He's been having some good chances of decent pools. Lurker to defend these run-bys, always very helpful of course. Dongregu's +3 is about to finish up, so finally we'll be even in upgrades again. As here we are going to see a couple of abducts. There we go. Disruptors are gone. Storm is good, but not that great against lurkers. A lot of lurkers falling at the top side for free. Is there still an observer with this army? No, there's not. How are you gonna deal with lurkers if you can't see them? It's the oldest trick in the book being played here on stats. Only 50 workers remaining though for Dongregu. Lots of good storms as I mean, there's 2 bases going up on the left side. Observers are being built. No more workers being added though. We have this salad run by. Lurkers can burrow. There's no observer here. Dongregu, no. Recall, no recall. Yes, this lurker almost dies as well. How many storms do we currently have? We have 2 disruptors. We have 3, 4, 5, 6 storms available. 5 storms available. We have changelings on the map too. I love that little move. Changelings just joining the army. Of course, you don't want to give your opponent vision of what you do. Stats definitely should be killing those. This is bad. He's gonna get locked out of his own ramp, and I think as a result, he's gonna be losing this base most likely. Oh, no, lurkers not with the army. Oh, lurkers were still burrowed. Probably forgot about them. There's 10 lurkers on the map. 5 over here. We see immortals pushing forward. Are going to be able to take... No, my god. Shields were already in use, so in that case immortals aren't actually that great against lurkers. You have a single Viper remaining. 2 more Vipers are being constructed, so that's 2 more lurkers. This base is mining. This base is semi-mining. This base is almost mining. 61 workers once again for Dongregu, who's... Loses 2 lurkers for free. And he returns back home. Loses a 3rd lurker there. A little bit sloppy. Here come the disruptor balls. Vipers out of position. 2 more Vipers in the main base. Where's that 3rd Viper? 3rd Viper did have energy, just was not with the army for now. Gonna have a rotation coming out of stats. Lurkers are gonna burrow up. No. Yes. Left side might be a little bit exposed. Here come disruptor balls. 2 lurkers. Down. Good micro coming out of stats so far. Really understanding where these lurkers are positioned. I mean, he's one observer with this army, but this is a very rough game. Single probe production going on at the same time. Army on the left side to deal with any type of run-bys. Here comes that observer back home with that observer speed. It's going to be completely fine. I think this is 3 dead lurkers for free. Here come disruptor balls. Are going to be able to zone out these lurkers. Vipers. Completely caught out of position once again. Just chilling at home. The Viper usage is very mediocre. I can't believe I think Stats actually going to do it. Final 3 lurkers on the map. There's 1 more to left. GG gets called. Stats wins a game, which was almost unlosable here for Dongregu. 44,000 resources lost for Dongregu against 30k of Stats. Absolutely fantastic control by Stats, but I can't shake the feeling that if these Vipers would have participated a little earlier, a little more in the fights, that this would have been a completely different game. Good job though to Stats, as he wins this game. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Smash the like button. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye. That's the wrong button.